Hi everyone, I'm Daisy Rocha and this is what's happening in Brazil. We start by updating you on the latest news from the country. President Lula stated this week that the world has regained confidence in Brazil due to this government's active and assertive diplomacy. In a national address on TV, Lula reviewed a year and a half of his administration, highlighting economic and social achievements and Brazil's reintegration into the international scene. He noted that the country regained global prominence, economic growth, inflation control, social programs, that it was an investment revival, and growth in job creation. The recent United Nations report on the state of food security and nutrition in the world highlights a positive trend in Brazil. Between 2021 and 2023, severe food security decreased by a third, or 33%, meaning 7 million fewer people face hunger. The number of severely food security individuals dropped from 21 million to 14 million in the latest data. Moderate food insecurity was also reduced. Last week, the Landless Rural Workers Movement, MST, mobilized its members across Brazil to mark Rural Workers' Day and International Family Farming Day. The action aimed to reaffirm agrarian reform as a fundamental policy to combat hunger. According to the MST, occupations took place at the headquarters of the National Institute for Colonization and Agrarian Reform in Recife and Petrolina, both cities in the state of Pernambuco. In Rio Grande do Sul, around 800 campers demanded public policies for rural workers. For the national coordination of the MST's production sector, the actions are also important to raise awareness for the contribution of family farming to society. Brazil faces a shortage of over 3,000 labor inspectors, with Amazonas being the most affected state. The lack of inspectors hampers efforts to combat degrading working conditions and labor rights violations. Amazonas, with nearly 2 million workers and only 20 inspectors, has the highest debt, making it challenging to address issues like illegal mining and slave labor. Brazil performs well in the Paris Olympics 2024. The highlights are 1 silver in men's judo and 3 bronze, 1 in women's street skateboarding, 1 in women's judo, and the other with the women gymnasts team. A viral video from the first week of the Games showed an Israeli couple harassing a Brazilian fan during an interview about the Israeli-Mali match. The Israelis interrupted the Brazilian by repeating "no politics" when he hadn't mentioned the topic. The fan then reacting saying "Free Palestine." After that, the argument just escalated. Climate change is fueling the worst wildfire season in the Pantanal biome, and the human actions is the main cause to blame. The Pantanal, a vital freshwater reservoir, is crucial for climate stabilization and soil conservation. Fire brigade members from all over the country are camped out in the most critical areas to try to control the fires, and that's what you see now in our story of the week.
Amid global discussions about climate change, Brazilians are becoming more aware of the seriousness of the situation due to recent historic floods and fires. This year alone, more than 760,000 hectares of the Pantanal were burned, the equivalent of 5 times the size of the city of São Paulo. The fight against fires and measures to reduce them in the biome are thanks to the work of volunteers and more than 700 firefighting professionals from all over the country.
In the current operation to combat a wildfire in the southern area of the Pantanal, we have IBAMA brigade members from Rondônia, Bahia, the Federal District, quilombolas from Goiás, Rio de Janeiro, and the city of Corumbá, and 5 indigenous brigades working on their indigenous lands.
Elizabeth França is the first woman to join Rondônia's Ready to Go Brigade, responsible for responding to calls to fight wildfires in any Brazilian region. She's on the front line of the firefighting effort, preparing lunches that feed the entire team and also supplying the helicopters.
Eu nunca tinha entrado nem o WHIB.
To be honest, I'd never even been to IBAMA, but I went there and signed up to be part of the brigade. And here I am today, fulfilling my mission. I fell in love with the brigade and with the work. I was just a mother. I stayed at home and looked after my 3 children.
When leaving the headquarters for a mission, the volunteers' only certainty is that there is no specific deadline for returning home.
Cada missão, assim.
Every mission is different. Every time I leave home, I don't know how long I'll stay out. Sometimes it's 15 days, sometimes it's 30 days, and I miss it a lot, but I feel I have to go. This job has become the purpose of my life.
According to the federal government, this year the Pantanal is facing the most serious drought on record in the last 70 years, especially due to human action, increase in deforestation, the use of areas for agribusiness, and changes in the water regime. This places even greater demands on the firefighting volunteers, who are divided into different jobs, ranging from preparing food to providing health assistance.
My companions and I, people who are wearing this yellow shirt here, are working hard to save the Pantanal, to put an end to the wildfires. We won't leave until this is over.
Capoeira is an Afro-Brazilian martial art that combines dance, acrobatics, music, and spirituality. On today's Culture Talk, you will meet the capoeiristas from the city of Belo Horizonte, who launched a letter presenting their demands to the city council and the candidates running for mayor in this year's election.
Despite being on the list of Brazil's intangible heritage, capoeira has faced severe challenges daily in Belo Horizonte since the early 60s. With this in mind, dozens of capoeira masters, teachers, and students from the city wrote a letter with proposals calling on the Belo Horizonte City Council and candidates for mayor to resolve various demands from capoeiristas. According to the community, capoeira is still on the margins of public policies and, in some cases, such as in education, has suffered from structural and religious racism.
Nós temos a maioria dos mestres sem sede, treinando.
Most of the capoeira masters in the city don't have a place where to train. They practice capoeira on the streets and in public squares. Here, there are capoeira professionals at the integrated school earning a minimum wage for 44 hours of work per week. We want them to receive the same salary teachers receive. We want the boys who are in the socio-educational system to be introduced to capoeira on a grant so that capoeira groups can receive money to teach these boys. We want to create a capoeira grant similar to the athletic grant so that capoeira practitioners, Black young boys from impoverished neighborhoods who wish to become capoeira professionals can become so by paying capoeira groups. So we have a set of demands.
Raimundo Ferreira de Souza, known as Master Ray, one of the capoeiristas who signed the letter, points to the socio-cultural relevance of the event in Belo Horizonte.
Belo Horizonte is a major exporter of capoeiristas to the rest of the world. People need to know that capoeiristas from Minas Gerais are responsible for the development of capoeira throughout Latin America. The great masters who spread capoeira to the rest of the world, Europe and the United States, Asia, everywhere, come from here. So Belo Horizonte is capoeira's international capital, and capoeira resonates in this city.
Capoeirista Rosângela da Silva says that another recurring challenge faced by capoeira masters in the city is the difficulty in accessing cultural public calls, which, because they are too complex, end up not reaching many people. The topic is also listed in the letter.
We need to simplify things so that these people, these groups, and capoeira as a whole can access funding. Today, we have 33% of the National Aldir Blanc program planned for capoeira in the state of Minas Gerais. And the big question is, how will capoeira access it? These are minor details, ranging from registering on the cultural map, getting a register number for the company, and structuring a project. So these are specific challenges that require a joint effort on the part of society, capoeiristas, both from the legislative power and city administration.
In addition to the actions the interviewees mentioned, the letter of proposals also provides for the cession of unused buildings owned by Belo Horizonte's City Hall for the implementation of social-cultural projects, the creation of the Capoeira Day in the city, and the institution of the incentive program for capoeira circles, open to the public.
Did you like the show? So hit the like button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive notifications. We'll see you next week.